What's up, A to B fam? Thanks for tuning in to another episode. I know you guys aren't used to seeing episodes like this, and yeah, this is a totally different setup. I wanted to do today's episode a little bit differently. I know that you guys are used to me kind of, doing my travel vlog thing and taking you around to all the new places I'm going, but I kind of wanted to make a new video to give you guys a chance to know me, the guy behind the camera. I don't feel like I really ever take the time to, elaborate more and talk about the things that are going on in life. So I wanted to take that opportunity now to make one of those videos. So this video is titled What I've Learned from Half a Year on the Road. And I'm gonna touch on a few different points, things I've learned, just kind of, the things that I don't really put into the videos is gonna come out now. So the first thing is why I started the trip in the first place. So it all started last year, maybe even a little bit further back. I had, some life events that they shook me. It was, one was my grandpa dying. The second one was me almost dying. So I guess in a sense, death kind of taught me a bit about life. And I think when those two events took place, especially when my grandpa died, it just kind of made me even more so question, what is my purpose? What is the meaning of my life? And what am I doing now? Because at the time I wasn't happy. I was working a desk job over at Adobe in San Jose, California. I've been an IT guy for about 10 years, and I just wasn't happy doing it. And I always wanted to do something that had greater meaning behind it. So I ended up learning basic photography and video and decided, hey, you know what, it'd be kind of cool to travel. And I thought it'd be cool to travel just because, number one, I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to have new experiences and broaden my horizons. Number two, I thought it would be a good idea as far as garnering content. The fact that I'd be able to go to all these new places and film the experiences, all the new places all the time, it just seems like you'll never run out of things to film. The other reason is because I wanted to hone my craft as a vlogger, filmmaker, photographer, and I felt like, well, what better way to get better at something than to devote your whole life to it? So that's pretty much what I did. I just decided that, I'm just gonna take this act on the road. I'm gonna devote my whole entire life to it. And so far, it's been amazing in so many ways. I think the first thing I wanted to touch on about it was expectations versus reality. I think before I left, the expectation that I had, I really wanted to start a movement. So my name A to B, which is short for A to Become, is based off of the old cliche, getting from point A to point B, which I felt like was a very result-driven thing, right? When somebody's trying to get from point A to point B, they don't really care what's happening in the middle. It's just getting to the end result. And I feel like a lot of people in our culture, a lot of people in society, that's kind of how they operate. That's kind of what's fed to us. We see six packs on magazines, we see tight bodies, we see Instagram stars. It makes you think that, shit, I can just go pick up a camera and I'm gonna be a star. I can just walk into the gym and, by the time I walk out, I'll have a six pack. And it's this kind of like instant gratification that I feel like people chase, and it's not real. For most of us, especially even talented people, you have to work it. Whatever it is you do, you have to hone your craft, and it just doesn't make sense that, again, we are just so end result driven. So I think that when I left on my trip and I was trying to start a movement that was based upon this philosophy, you have to work hard, you have to hone your craft, you have to constantly study, you have to constantly learn. Even now, I'm still learning every day. I thought that I was gonna blow up. I really did. I thought, man, I'm gonna start this movement and I'm gonna blow up. Like I believed it 100%. And when I started getting into it more and I started making more movies and really devoting my time to it, I went through a lot of different pitfalls. Some of those pitfalls being that, you can spend hours and hours on a video and you might not get that many views. And that's hard. It's really easy to get discouraged. I'm really fortunate that I had people along the way that, were encouraging to me. And I have had people that, have been there from the get-go and watched the videos and they're just really supportive, and I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, I think that in a way it kind of forced me to look into my own philosophy. The whole reason behind A to B was, falling in love with the process. And I think somewhere along the lines, I've kind of turned into a travel vlog, and although I have fun doing that, that wasn't really my first intention when I started making the vlog in the first place. I think that I wanted to inspire inspire people to step out of their comfort zone. If there's something that you want to do, I mean, you may want to be a violinist, or you may want to be a painter or a dancer or a video game developer. I don't know, like it could be anything. And when you're doing something that's not that, and you're spending 8 or 9 hours a day working a job that isn't feeding that, you're building somebody else's dream, and that feeling sucks. And the truth is time flies. Like I think after grandpa dying and what I went through and just everything kind of coming to a head, I realized, shit, like I don't have a whole lot of time. Like I feel like I've been wasting my time not following my heart, not doing what I wanted to do. So it was just like a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do exactly what I want to do, because at least if I do die, or if I'm on my deathbed, at least I can say that, hey, I gave it a shot. So the trip, to me, as far as like what has made this trip special so far, by far, is the people that I've met. Everyone from Michelle in Santa Cruz, Bao in Portland, the Abel family in Clayton and Boise. I got to hang with my cousin and some family out there in Colorado, and now I'm here in Austin, Texas with my dad and my grandpa. So it's really cool to be around some family. Although the dynamics have changed quite a bit now, because I'm more settled. This feels more like home than it does like actually being out on the trip. When I reflect on those experiences with those people along the way, it's just like, man, I learned so much, and it was difficult in a lot of ways, because I think that I've missed my family, I've missed my girlfriend, I've left everything that I knew, and I went to hang out with these total strangers, and I was just shown so much love and just really welcomed. The experiences that I can take away from this trip, they'll be with me for the rest of my life. And I think it's the best thing I ever did. What a lot of people ask me is the cost. Like, how do you make enough money to go on this trip? So I actually started the trip with a little over $2,000. I'm fortunate because I had an IT job that paid really good. I'm also really fortunate that I'm able to get the IT jobs, because even like right now, I'm working a temporary assignment, and it pays decent, and I can save up a good chunk of cash. I don't have rent to pay. I don't really have any other bills except cell phone bill and car insurance and just like my food and stuff like that. But I saved up a little over $2,000. All my equipment I had saved up and purchased prior. As far as being frugal and spending goes, I think the one thing that saved me a lot of money was I lived off of Costco chickens and sweet potatoes. Like I still have a cooler that's in the back of my car, and I would just go buy a chicken. I would cut it up, put the rotisserie chicken in a bag, microwave my sweet potatoes if needed, a bag of vegetables if I need to. Just keep it in the cooler, and it's not the best. I got sick of chicken, but at the same time, like the trade-off that's the sacrifice you make, right? I was trying to eat healthy too, and it just allowed me to save a ton of money. And my car gets good gas mileage, gets like 38 to the gallon, so that's super helpful. I use a platform called Couchsurfing. So if you don't know what Couchsurfing is, it's actually a community of people. It's also international. There's people around the world and all around the country that will host travelers to come into their home. And then the next thing people say was, whoa, you're just gonna let these strangers into your home. Well, on one side of the coin, as far as inviting somebody into your home, usually with Couchsurfing, you have references and reviews and things like that. So like me, I have all my references and reviews of people that have like stayed with me. And then you got people that are verified, which I think they have to pay a certain amount of money, and there's like a background check involved. It's up to you, but I was, really, again, fortunate enough to have people that were like, hey, yeah, you can come into my home, and it doesn't cost anything. It's a community-based thing, and that's essentially what I did, was just, crash on couches. But the benefit to that was, when I go into certain cities, I get to see the city from a local point of view, and not just as a tourist, right? Because we can go into a city and we can hit up all the tourist spots, but for me, going into like Seattle or Portland or even Santa Cruz, like I've been to those places already, especially Santa Cruz, and it's so much different when you immerse yourself with the people that are local from that area, because they'll show you things, take you to places, and you'll just have different experiences that you just probably wouldn't have had on your own. So that's been really cool, and that also saved me a lot of money and also saved me a lot of like cold nights in my car, because when I wasn't couch surfing, I was actually sleeping in my car. I have like this, self-inflating mattress that just is in the back of my car, and I'd have all my gear and stuff like that, which I mean, I'm pretty comfortable doing it, but I mean, I went into the dead of winter and sometimes it would get down into the teens. It gets cold. But some of the challenges that I've faced while on the trip in the past 6 months, like a big one is loneliness. When you're out on the road and you're traveling day to day, you're just like stuck with yourself. You don't have your friends around to hang out with. I was used to being around my girlfriend every single day, so now I don't have a girlfriend. And I think one thing that helped with being lonely was, number one is staying busy, and number two was the people that I got to couch surf with. Loneliness is definitely one of the hardest aspects, and still kind of is one of the hardest aspects of the trip. I mean, even when you go out and you're meeting new people, you always miss your close people. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something, like, you're gonna miss them a lot. I mean, I only get to see Stephanie maybe once a month. Sometimes longer, so that's really tough. Long distance relationship, that's super tough. Lots of video calls, lots of phone calls, visits whenever we can squeeze them in. Plane tickets aren't cheap. It puts kind of a damper on everything at times. But I will say that, like, the time when I'm happiest is when I'm actually just out on the road, I'm rolling, and I'm like on my way to somewhere. Like, I don't even really care about getting to that place. I just love being on the road and traveling and just seeing new mountains and landscapes and animals and hearing new sounds I've never heard before. But yeah, honestly, I just think that quitting my job or going on this road trip was definitely the best thing I've ever done. Another thing as far as like mitigating my financial issues, if you want to call them issues. So because I work in IT, I'm able to pretty much go to any major city and get an IT job. So what I'll usually do is I'll go to a major city. Actually, before I get to the major city, I'll switch my resume and everything for the, like, let's say Austin, for example. I started applying for jobs in Texas while I was in Colorado, so that when I got here, I could just hit the ground running and just get into something. I'll work for a few weeks, and I shouldn't have to work, if I do it right, I shouldn't have to work for at least a couple months. So for me, that helps me a lot. I think when it comes to following your dream or doing something like this, at the end of the day, you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith in what it is that you're doing. You gotta have faith in yourself. It's gonna be hard. Like, I know, like, van life and all these different road trip people, whatever, like travel vloggers, I know a lot of them make it look really, glorified, and it is, don't get me wrong, but there definitely is a dark side to all of it, and I think especially if you're going alone. I think it'd be a lot different if I had somebody with me, or like if I brought Stephanie or like my friend Connor, or just anybody, right? Like, I think it would just change the dynamic. I think it would, help out with the loneliness factor, but then at the same time, I feel like going on your own, like I have, going on your own, it forces you to be with yourself, and you learn a lot. So it's been an awesome experience. It's been a bittersweet but mainly sweet experience, and I look forward to, I still have here in Austin, New Mexico, like Santa Fe, Albuquerque, Arizona, Southern California, and then from there I have a couple different options in the works, but I definitely want to continue making movies. Again, thank you for sticking with me to watch this type of episode. Next week will definitely be the regularly scheduled style video that I do, although I think I'm going to take a little bit different approach now. I think I've grown a bit, and I'm changing, I'm evolving, so as will my content, you'll see over time. But yeah, guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, also hit the bell so you can get notifications whenever a video drops. Share these videos with your friends, man. It helps me out. I work really hard on these videos, and any feedback is appreciated, so please leave a comment. You can reach out to me on my A to B Facebook page too, Instagram. Just reach out. That being said, have a nice day. Follow your dreams. That's it. Later.